This video lesson for Thursday 11.5, we're taking a look at writing transformations for quadratic functions. So we're going to take our knowledge of transformations and we're going to be able to write equations when we're given the transformations. So if I tell you that it's moving up 3 and vertical stretch by 2, and I tell you what the transformation is, you need to then be able to write the equation that matches that. So just at the beginning here, a little refresher about vertex form. And we've been talking about A, H, K, and there might be a negative out in front of here or maybe inside, things like that. You know this already. I just had it here as an additional concept. K is a vertical translation. That means up, down. H is a horizontal translation. That means left, right. A in front indicates a vertical stretch or shrink, or it could also indicate a reflection if it's a negative there. And they're not doing anything as far as like a negative A inside parentheses in this part here, although you may see some of that as we go through some of our problems. So let's take a look at our two examples. First example says that here's my parent function. We'll get to that in a moment. We're just doing x squared, the parent function. Let g, the graph of g, be a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So the first thing they want us to do is a vertical stretch by 2. And a reflection in the x-axis. So the next thing they're telling us to do is reflect the x-axis. And then it says followed by, so in this order, moving down 3 units. Now they are going to tell you the order they want. Even if this last one was left 3. And you're like, wait, left and right has to go first. No, do it in the order that they tell you to do it in. Follow the order, even if that breaks the order we talked about. If they tell you specifically, this is the order I want it done in, follow the order they're telling you to follow in the problem. Okay? So I'm going to do a vertical stretch by 2. And let's think about what that means. A vertical stretch by 2 means that I'm multiplying x squared by 2 in front. And then reflect the x-axis. Well, reflecting the x-axis is also vertical. So that means it's a negative 2 in front. And again, both of these are vertical things. Reflecting the x-axis is a vertical flip from up here to down here around the x-axis. So these are both vertical things. So these are both outside of a parentheses. And then down 3, so take your reflection and your stretch of that function and move it down 3. Now the way they approach it is to identify the transformations. A reflection and a vertical stretch are indicated by A being negative 2. Translation is indicated by k being negative 3, and then plug a in for a, negative 2 in for a, and negative 3 in for k. And they're kind of laying it out more formally over here in the notes. So if this makes sense to you, that's great. And this would be the formula, the same thing that we wrote over here. And they also want you to identify the vertex. Vertex is h comma k. There is no h value, so it's just 0 comma negative 3. Because there is no h value in here, it's 0 comma negative 3 is where the vertex is. Now usually if we start with a parent function of x squared, it's pretty easy to do. In fact, I'm going to do another one real quick. I just decided now. Let's say that I asked you to do a left 4 and then a vertical shrink by 1/3. And then move it down 7 or something like that. So again, it should be easy from the parent function. Left 4 means I'm going to go x plus 4 because that means h is negative 4. And if you put 2 negatives in, x minus negative 4, that would turn into plus 4. That's indicating left 4. Vertical shrink, vertical, that's outside. Down 7, that goes on the end. Left, vertical shrink, down 7, there's your answer. Okay, so that's a little bit easier to work with. And you're going to have some problems, 2 problems that do that. Then we have these little bit tougher ones when I'm not starting with the parent function, but I'm starting with another type of function. So right now I'm starting with x squared minus 5x, not just the parent function. Now let's see the transformations they want us to do. It says translate 3 units right. So we're going to go right 3 and 2 units up. Then followed by a reflection in the y-axis. And because they told us to do that in that order, we're going to follow that order. All right, so first thing, I'm going to move everything right 3. And they indicate it right here. Right 3 means x minus 3. So if I saw x minus 3, h is negative 3. If I saw x minus 3, that indicates right 3. But the problem is there's 2 x's in here. So both x's need to be replaced with x minus 3. So x minus 3 indicates moving right 3, and I'm going to replace both the x's with x minus 3. Now we need to simplify this out. Okay? I'll do the plus 2 in just a moment. Let's simplify this. So I have x minus 3 squared. That's x squared minus 6x. Don't kill the puppy. Don't just say plus 9. There's a middle term there. We talked about that. Minus 6x. And I need to distribute the 5 as well. Minus 5x and plus 15 when I multiply negative 5 and negative 3. Let's combine those together. Get 11x, negative 11x. And 9 plus 15 makes 24. So that's the move it right 3. And there's some algebra that we have to work with there. Next thing I'm going to do is go up 2. Up 2 means that you're going to take the function as it is and you're going to add 2. In the parent function, that's just adding 2 on the end. So I just need to add 2 to this entire function. Okay, well that's pretty simple. That just means I'm going to combine these last 2 like terms and make that 26. And that's where they get this from. Then it says, also do a reflection in the y-axis. Now we know a reflection in the y-axis is a negative on the inside. So if I threw a negative into the parent function inside with the x, multiplied by a negative, that's a reflection in the y-axis. So once again, I have more than one x. So I need to actually substitute both x's with a negative x, because there is more than one x. Don't just put negative x for the squared part, but also for the other x. Now, negative x squared, anything squared is positive, so that stays x squared. This has 2 negatives, so that changes it to a positive, and then plus 26, and you can see that's where they get their final answer from. This is going to take a little bit of work. While you're working on your homework, there's only 4. You should be able to get it done in class here. Come back in, check back with me, and I'll help you with these harder ones, the 3rd and 4th problem if you need it. Okay? All right, you can start your homework now.